So I have a very interesting question, which I find interesting. At what point you are the first and last line of defense from creator to fan as a store owner? At what point do you champion a book and say you need to check out Paper Girls, you need to pick out Saga, you need to pick out one of these books? Do you kind of get behind, like, is there a personal level of thing, or is it like this is what most people are picking up, so you recommend it? Is it kind of like a sales thing that's oriented? Is it a personal relationship thing, or is it a mixture? What would you say is like gets you like behind like a book to be like, okay, someone walks into the store and they like this type of thing, I'm going to give them this type of book?
It's knowing your customer. For the regulars that come in, if something comes out that I really like and I know that it's kind of similar to what they like as well, I'll tell them, hey, there's this new book out. You've got to check it out. It's really fantastic. I think you're really going to enjoy it. And most of the times they do, because you know what they like, you know what they read. It's a little tougher when somebody you've never seen before walks in. And our shop, being in Santa Monica near the 3rd Street Promenade, we get a lot of tourists, a lot of people that are here on vacation from the Midwest, or maybe even like Brussels, or
somewhere around the world.
Somewhere, halfway around the world. And you've got to know, just by talking to them very briefly, what they might be into. And, you ask a few leading questions, you get an idea of what they're looking for, and you go, I got just the thing. There's this, this, and this. They're really fantastic. I think you're going to like them. And I try to encourage all of my employees, read. Think of this place as your personal library. You see something that's interesting, or even just whatever, stuff that's new that's coming out, take some copies home, read it. Be sure to bring it back in sellable condition. Don't sit there and lick the pages and eat Doritos while you're reading it. But it's just educating yourself, and they will find the things that they gravitate towards, and they will share that excitement for whatever it is that they like with the customers that come in. I mean, it's just, that's part of the job. It's not at what point do you do it. It's you do it because that's the job.
That's crazy. I mean, it's interesting that you're just there picking up stuff. And are you more inclined to pick up something that's a more mainstream book, or are you more inclined to pick up a more indie book?
I was always more inclined to read pretty much anything Marvel, because that's what I loved as a kid. Yeah. That's what I grew up with. But you can't just read one thing, because people are going to come in and say, hey, what's good? Well, there's this Marvel book. No, I don't like Marvel. Well, what do you do now? So you make a point of trying to educate yourself briefly on everything that's coming out, but you can't read everything.
You can't.
You got to gravitate towards what is of interest to you across the different lines. At Heidi Ho, we get a lot of people that like more indie stuff. What I mean by that is not necessarily superhero stuff, but stuff that's a little different. Like stuff like Vertigo and Image and stuff like that. So I try to keep up on some of the titles that are coming out on those lines, and there's some really good stuff coming out from Image, Vertigo now with the new relaunch and stuff. So you've got to know, if someone comes in and says, well, I don't like superheroes, what's good to read? Well,
you got to have stuff up your sleeve and say, okay.
Yeah, you got to know. And for the most part, the biggies are, hey, there's Paper Girls, there's Saga, there's this or that. But those are pat answers. Is there something outside of what is expected of your answer that maybe they might like? Is there something completely different that is not quite on anybody's radar yet that you read and thought, wow, I think this is going to be a major thing? So it's educating yourself on what's coming out, even if you can't read everything. Just so that when someone comes in and says, I like science fiction. Are there any good science fiction comics out there? Yeah, I got just the thing. So
that's amazing. I love it.